Here is the man who built Dokan and the Bosphorus Bridge, who spanned the Humber and from whose foundations rose billets and blooms, rail and sleeper in iron and steel. Yet, on a good day, he knows that I am me, and tells tales of tunnelling through under the forest of Bowland, and of my paddling in rivers in spate, and cannot remember when we last met or what we said just a few moments ago. Yet I love this old man, feet swollen with ulcerous legs, bowed back and bald pate, scarred by innumerable falls, any one of which could carry him away from me and that image of grandpa he has now become, which in turn no doubt will I and my sons. Here is the man who built Dokan and the Bosphorus Bridge. 33 years. It only takes a minute, does it not, to twist her arm, bend her over, push in this powerful manly shot, soon to be forgot in youthful clover. But not for her. That careless minute taken unconcerned by you begins and never ends, an infinite taint distorting her contorted view. With one single thrusting stroke, you stole from her inner sense of worth. Her soul, no longer sacred, plays a role she must sustain for a life. There's no rebirth. No balm allay that endless blame, no more deserved than your gift to her, replayed again as you maim with shame. Your heedless deed will every day recur. She was 15, a virgin, walking carefree in the sand, returning home alone, safe along the vineyard shore. There were 3 of you, brave in one another's frenzy, feeding on this innocent child in self-congratulatory lust. You got away. She didn't tell. No longer sacred, she tore herself apart. She no longer cared. This secret little thing never shared with those who cared, who never knew the pain she housed so close. Who could ever love this slut who failed to fight 3 lustful men on the vineyard's sunset shore? What did it matter if she gave herself to anyone who asked, who wanted more? What did it matter if she lived alone, unable to love, unable to share? What did it matter if she could not discern my love for her? It mattered to me. Yes, I am now your victim after 33 slow years. Deep inside this lonely soul who lives so much alone, I found that carefree, sinless girl and shared her fears. I touched the beauty she could not see and drew from stone the essential loving teen she should have been. Those times I knew she yearned so much for me, warm against my skin throughout the night. Her love unacknowledged, thus plain to see, and with many other things so clearly right, I risked my heart for her without demur. But trust is dearly bought. The price too high, redeeming all those years alone she could not share. That space around her sheltered soul, too close a tie to risk her unworthy self with anyone to dare. The safer play was to send me away. While we were living in Miami, Rose and I went to an incredible exhibition of portraits, which ran from early Mayan culture all the way to modern South American portraiture. We went through the 1930s. It was amazing how many of the artists that were displayed in this exhibition seemed to have died from bicycle accidents and car accidents. They're probably not their own help. But there was one amazing display, which was 6 silver discs along one blank wall. And the discs were around about head height. And when you went up to the disc, when you breathed on it, a face of one of the missing children in Colombia would appear on the disc. And of course, when you stepped away, your breath was no longer on the disc, and so the face vanished. Breath of life. Breathe on me. Stand close. Breathe on me. Give me life. See how I blossom. Stand close. See my face. Observe the detail, fine lines etched in steel. Breathe on me. Talk to me. Ask for me close by my face. Notice me. Stand close. Do not move up. The A train. When I first moved into New York and told people that I travelled into New York on the A train, They would always look at me and say, "You go on there, it's dangerous, you'll get raped, you'll get mugged." Yet, I managed it. Yes, I take the A train. From Aqueduct to Penn and back I go for 40 minutes to and fro on New York's longest ride that takes Manhattan in its stride, and I the A train strain. Yes, I take the A train and look with awe upon the myriad faces, upon the most unusual brew of races who travel in this silver sinuous snake, in whose belly the twin rails take me along the A train lane. Yes, I take the A train. I've shared my ride with many different folks who mostly stand with vacant stare that cloaks their interesting inner selves they cannot share with me, that danger stranger without hair who travels on the A train. Yes, I take the A train and give my mighty quarter to the tract for this cause or that, whose needs are racked with pain, broadcast along this elongated lane of frozen temporality, this languorous frame who are for us the A train lame. Yes, I take the A train. Watch the vendor's chocolate cardboard box on wheels whose owner picks the locks between the cars and is never seen to sell his wares, this optimistic tour with Bell, this subway store on the A train wane. Yes, I take the A train. Travelling with nurse and whore, the office bore, this mother, child and student too, the scores from stores who travel up and down with those who deal in crack, who still rely for travel on this prestigious track of New York life, the A train vein. And as we are in a discussion of communications, this is the ultimate communication between people. That momentary moment preceding the moment where uncertain of certainty quells certain uncertainty, compressed in a moment, is the turn of a moment where force and momentum makes a couple. Like a polarized magnet's uncertain polarity, it's not till that moment you bring them together for whether they'll join or whether repel. It's not till that moment that either can tell.
This first one is about working for a church and being a woman working for a church, because that's what I actually do. I listened confused, almost disbelieving as he explained why the men last week had been acting so strange, why they had chosen any seat except the one beside me. He said it was funny to see the looks on their faces as they contemplated, then decided against, sitting beside the blonde. And I wondered what was so wrong with my hair colour, that these men in dog collars couldn't go near me. I was intrigued at the power my hair could apparently wield, how it could create some kind of force field, keeping at bay those men who wished to be respectable, pillars of society. I was puzzled, trying to figure out if he was trying to compliment me, wondering if he expected me to be pleased at his insinuations that my body led men into temptation and that its power was so great, they deemed it inappropriate to even sit beside me during a prayer meeting. I was disappointed that even these men, although well-meaning, could deep down be so demeaning, that when they looked at me, they didn't see a colleague, a friend, or even a human being. Instead, they saw only an object, empty, with neither thoughts nor feelings. And I was hurt, because although, thank God, they haven't used me as their plaything, treating me as an equal seems a step they fear taking. So as long as they have a reputation to protect, I will never be more than the blonde, an object. And because my boobs and my hair colour are baggage I can never leave behind, there will always be an empty seat beside mine. Because apparently, it's morally wrong for a vicar to sit beside the blonde. This next one is called Murmur on the Wall, or Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Murmur on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Was my broken heart ever beautiful enough for you? I made myself skeletal for you. What do you do when you become the girl you swore you never would? The one who starves herself because the mirror tells her she'll look good. Be beautiful, fulfilled, happy and loved when she reaches the magic number. And I kept reaching, but you kept raising the bar until it was far out of my reach, way beyond my grasp. Because Murmur, you couldn't see the pain I hid underneath my baggy shirt, the one I wore to cover up all of my hurt and my hunger. Oh, my hunger, to be the girl you and the world wanted me to be. Thin, beautiful, strong, graceful, in control, empty. Because you demanded everything of me and promised me everything in return, and I waited. How I waited for the day I'd get my reward, when you'd give me the affirmation you know I saw. I kept my eyes on the prize, but I slaved in vain, didn't I? And now I realise that there is more to life than slow dancing with death, and that your promises were mere empty threats that you couldn't carry out. You were the devil in reflective glass form. You fed me lies and I swallowed your scorn. But that's not going to happen anymore, because I'm going to smash them into a million pieces, and out of the shards I will build something truly beautiful. A mosaic of all the tiny little fragments which make up me, and I will be a masterpiece. And this one's for my brother, because I get really fed up with the way he gets really patronised. It's called Not a Death Sentence. When I mention that I have a brother, I brace myself for the inevitable questions which I know will follow this passing comment. Innocent questions on the surface. What's his name? Is he older or younger than you? Where does he live? When I mention that he's 26 and still lives with my parents, I feel I need to explain. He has Down syndrome, I say. And brace myself again for the pitying look, the sympathetic smile, and the questions which plague me all the while. So, what does he do? A thinly veiled, what can he do? When I mention that he works for an engineering company, I watch them try to hide the slightly widened eyes, the look of surprise. Undeterred, I continue. I mention that when he was just 11 years old, he won 3 Special Olympic golds, and that at last count he had over 70 medals, and I watch them marvel at his achievements. I mention how he tricked my mum into letting him have a beer at the tender age of 16 years, and how the next morning she woke up to find him drinking beer for breakfast. I mention how he uses his skills to help others, that he was part of the first team of people with disabilities who built houses with Habitat for Humanity, that now he teaches children just like him how to swim just like him. And I mention more of his talents, his gifts, that as well as swimming, he's incredibly creative and so great with kids that I can't wait for him to be an uncle. And now it's my turn to marvel at how high eyebrows can rise as I watch their ever-widening eyes, their looks of surprise, and I realise that my brother's entire life has been a surprise. And that actually makes me quite sad, because it makes me wonder why so little was expected of him in the first place. I think it's a disgrace. So when I meet new parents coming to terms with this news, bracing themselves for a lifetime of sympathetic smiles and poor yous, I try to tell them about my brother and all that he's achieved, try to be positive and make them see all they can expect from their baby. And I try to be diplomatic, but to be honest, sometimes I just want to grab them and scream. Down syndrome is not a death sentence on your dreams. Thank you.
I'd like to start with a piece about growing up with social anxiety. This is called Shy People. I was 6 years old at the local playground on a climbing frame, pretending I was piloting a starship through hyperspace. Another child interrupted my game because he wanted to play, so I climbed down from the metal bars and just wandered away. I still recall my mum telling me off, "You need to mix with other kids. Where do you get these unsociable tendencies from?" But it wasn't, I didn't like him. I was busy building a galaxy inside of my own mind, and playing with him would have distracted me. Like at school, most playtimes all I'd really want to do was walk in a circle by myself, thinking up future plots for Doctor Who. Or the teachers would try and find me other kids to play with, like bailiffs, coming to evict me from my daydreams. A couple of kids I didn't mind distracting me, Most notably Thomas, a loner with much the same personality. This turned to friendship we spent our Saturdays pretending we'll fighting monsters for the galaxies we invented together. But time went on, I saw less of him. Soon I wasn't friends with him. What with adolescence setting in, we just outgrew each other's memories. But I owe a lot to Thomas, I'm glad that I found him. We took on the planet, then we ran the ring of Saturn around it. I turned 14, I forgot I built a galaxy. My fantasies were sexual now, but still no closer to reality. Punching the walls of my bedroom, sick of always staying in the terrible kisser in a fictional relationship. I turned 16, almost thought the boy grew up, but I just swapped make-believe for alcohol and toys for drugs. We had a crew now, down the park with the big kids. It's just a shame that my confidence ran out when the drink did. So when I wasn't with my mates, I wasn't quite such a character. GCSE English, I was so quiet, it's embarrassing. Doing group work with 6 girls who seemed to regard me less as a real boy, more as a China doll with a heartbeat. I turned 18, moved to a strange place. Everyone I saw in the street was a strange face. Most nights I'd just hide in my dormitory, waiting for the kitchen to empty so I could get a drink without a flatmate trying to talk to me. Till I heard one of them say, "God, Laurence, what a freak, he's so unsociable." But it wasn't, I didn't like him, I just didn't know the protocol. When you're shy, you get people attacking you as if it were morally equivalent to criticise a statue. I was scared to talk to you, so I'm weird and I'm a freak. But I'm not an ornament. I hear you when you speak. And I'll stop acting deviant when people stop acting surprised. You fit into the rhyme scheme of things. I'd rather lead an assonant life. You really want to talk to us? Listen, you've got to work on us. Build oil wells in our heads and drill to extract the words from us. But persevere. Please find the cracks in our armour. What you find might surprise you like a mannequin's laughter. This is for the shy people we've been ignoring all our lives, like skin cells floating past the corner of our eyes, those people who return from a silent day at work and just microwave a meal for one and draw the iron curtain shut. Impenetrable riddles wrapped in untold histories, inside of the enigmas of their untold mysteries behind us on the train home, listening, ghosts of stillborn friendships haunting our peripheries. Thank you. I accidentally discovered that YouTube has a transcribe function, and back when I discovered this, it was hilariously unreliable. So I thought, I wonder what YouTube transcribe will make of the poem I just did. Absolute nonsense, it turns out. So here is the bizarre reinterpretation of the poem you just heard. Or 6 years old, but the local playground of the conference pretending. I was planning to start to provide this place. Another child, incorruptible gang she wanted to place well, climbed down from apple pies and just wanted to work. Well, teachers a trial comic. Other kids to play with. What claims coming from a picnic for patrons? The time when all is a lesson. Said it wasn't president, bored adolescents, and then we just encourage others' memories. By a lot, Thomas Hargrove. Founding, we took on the planet renderings, sung, transporting. Also question character decency. English, also quite embarrassing. To recruit with a 6 pills, secret government Nessa, real point was a China dot with hopping. You really want to talk to us? Listened, he got what comes, Doughboy Wells. I press in a row, Palmer's prices, mannequins locked up. Pieces for the shuttle we've been ignoring. Imposter, Cordoba, ourselves. People who return from a silent night, working just microwave a meal for want to or the Iron Curtain shop. Impenetrable reconstructed unsolved mysteries, decided the uniqueness of the untold histories behind his on the train home, listening, stillborn friendships, holding up a reference. Thank you. I don't know how many of you had to deal with dating websites, but if you haven't, I'll just fill you in. Basically, a dating website is a massively multiplayer online disappointment simulator. So here's a poem about how my conversations at least tend to end. It's called Jennifer 29 Goes Quiet. Laurence, 84, writes, we have almost exactly the same taste in music. Jennifer, 29, writes, I know, block capitals, exclamation mark. Laurence, 84, writes, I notice you're an atheist. Have you heard of a rapper called Graydon Square? Jennifer, 29, writes, genius, you know, if you're free next week, maybe we could ... Jennifer, 29, has stopped typing. Jennifer, 29, has heard the living room door creak open, noticed the sudden drop in temperature and the reflection on her laptop screen of the blood-stained claw rearing up behind her into striking distance. Jennifer, 29, thinks, the shadow demon. But I thought I'd defeated it. Jennifer, 29, is dragged, screaming, through a tear in the fabric of reality and taken to the 13th jagged corridor of the nightmare dimension. Laurence, 84, writes, hello. Hello? WTF, question mark, exclamation mark. Oh, for God's sake. If you didn't want to talk to me, you didn't have to talk to me, but that was not the point, to just stop. Just once. Even some ridiculous made-up reason would be nice. Thank you.